Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'd like to say thank you for clicking on this video, and if you like it, subscribe and give me a blue thumbs up. And yeah, so I was wanting to have just have a simple video on the WT class locomotives, but then I had to split it into two. So yeah, this is part two. So yep, okay, straight into the video. So yeah, this is the WT class, and if you hadn't seen part one, I suggest you go and see it, since then you get more information, and then you can follow on from this. Well, okay. So yeah, there were then there were very similar designs to both the Fowler 2Ps and both the 4MT Fairborn LMS design, which I'll show you now of the 2Ps. So yeah, and you can recognize a lot of similarities between the two. Both tank engines, well, down to the basics and everything. They were very, very, very similar designs, only that they had more open frames and different style tanks and coal bunkers. Um, very similar to both the 4MTs and Fairborn 4MTs, both built for the LMS, along with the WTs. But so yeah, you can just say that they were the British cousins or the Irish cousins of these designs. And I'll show you now this another engine that really influenced why the WTs were ever even constructed. So this is the engine, and if you look at it, you probably recognize the way it's shaped, and the way it has two front pony truck, and then having 6 driving wheels. Well, this is the W class, and there were just tender engine versions of the WTs, just like the ones with the over an LMS with the BR designs. 4MT having both tender and tank engine versions of each other for different duties. But they were built before the 4MT or WTs, and they were very successful design, but they weren't successful. Only flaw really was the fact that there wasn't many turntables they could turn on, because turntables in Ireland aren't as big as they are in Britain, and we're having such a big engine such as a mongrel, as our biggest engines ever were only 460s, so a mongrel was quite big, and with this lack of the turntables the size of them, they had to mainly run tender first, certain journeys, and it wasn't good for the company as it would take a lot more time. And to solve that problem was to build tank engine versions of these, since they were the only flaw of them was the fact that the turntables. So so the NCC ordered 18 WTs to be built in 1946, 1945 to 1946, around that period of time. And even though they were constructed, a few of them were being constructed and ready to go, they didn't arrive until 1946 to start work. But when they finally came over and were on the rails and put into steam, they were found to be very, very successful. They were very good designs. I'll actually go back to the four WTs. So yeah, this is our the preserved example, number 4. But yeah, they were very successful designs, and they were so successful even with their fuel capacity for tank engines. I was very surprised. Comparing them, I know I am comparing them to what you say. Oh, they're much smaller than these, but comparison, it's unbelievable. So I'm comparing these to a pannier tank, a Great Western pannier tank. I know they were only shunters, but their water capacity was around, they could go for as far as 20 miles, and then they would run out of water and they'd have to be refueled or topped up in water, but these could carry on for 90 miles. And that is something for tank engines to go 90 miles non-stop. So, yeah. They were seen on pulling express duties from Belfast down to Dublin, and running all around Belfast or around Northern Ireland, and but then later on in their career, they were found their duties on pulling stone trains between Ulster and along the coast. There on the east coast of Ulster and Belfast. They were very good at pulling these trains. Mostly they would consist of about 20 or 30 wagons. I hope I'm politically correct. It's just off the top of my head, so if I'm wrong, you can just tell me down below in the subscription. Yeah, but there was one engine at each end, so they could pull up and down without having to turn or whatever. But they were very good at this, and the last two after eventually, I don't know when the first one was put out of service. I think, what was it? I'll just check now. I'm sorry about that, but can't get the information for you there, but you can get it somewhere else. For when they were first put out of service, but eventually they just declined. But Northern Ireland wasn't finished with steam as down south with the rest of Ireland, like the CIE was, which is the southern or all the rest of Republic of Ireland's railways. They were finished with steam in the 1960s, up to the same time as steam ended in Britain in when steam ended in England in 1969. Now if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but it's 1968 or 1969, and for sure, but actually, well, that's mostly in Railway Enthusiast. That was 1968 when steam was gone completely, and that all of them had bit the dust, most engines, and then some of them were coming into preservation. But these were over in Ireland, not known to many British enthusiasts, that two of these class WTs were still at work. Now I'll just let you sink that in for a moment. They were still at work after steam ended in Britain. Now, I know they only worked for another 2 years, but that is something I'm definitely proud of, that we kind of had the last stand with mainline steam, and but you have your own date of when steam ended, which was probably 1968, but mine probably 1971 was the last time they were ran, and April 1971 was the year the last WT was steamed up and ran a passenger train to I don't know where location it was, but as soon as the train was ended, it was put on the side and then withdrawn. Now, sadly, that was the end of steam. Diesels took over since then, and well, but guess which WT was the last one to run, or either on the last mainline steam engine, either in Britain or Ireland to run. Yes, it was. It was number 4. It was the last engine, either in Britain or Ireland, to the last one to be withdrawn. And it was a really nice way to pull the curtain down over a century and a half of steam, yeah, and it wasn't long lived as not seeing British or steam on the main lines. When then preservation started, and then trains started being bought again and taken out of scrapyards, which was fabulous. And I would love to be there, as many railway enthusiasts would have been, if they were never in the steam glory days, or in the railways heydays, to see them working in their what they were built to do. Well, I'll say about number 4's preservation. I'm guessing she was bought by the Irish Preservation Society of Ireland, and as like many machinery, the reason why they're kept alive because of spare machines, such as tractors, cars, lorries, you name it. We're having a spare machine model of the same thing. When a component was needed, you just take it off the other one and stick it on, and you're good to go. And it was the same with number 4, because many of its sisters were still around. Some of her, I think her driving wheels were badly damaged, were badly needed of retiring, but instead she was swapped the driving wheels off her one of her sisters. The last remaining one, that was the second last engine to be put out of steam for good. And then later on, I think her back chassis, it was discovered it was green because one of these engines in liveries, it was supposed to be experimental that they were going to be painted green, but it never worked out. But the paint was founded on one of the axles on the pony trucks, and it is on number 4 at the moment. Many different parts were swapped and whatnot. At the moment now, I don't think it's not in service at the moment. As we speak, it's waiting for an overhaul, but it's pretty good. So finally, when it is overhauled, we'll see it back in steam on our railways again. And hopefully I've covered everything you wanted to know about these trains. And thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.